Mary, thank you. Communities around the country, they struggle with how to help the homeless population. And as the temperatures plummet, the problem, as we were just talking about, becomes even more serious. But a DC-based nonprofit has an innovative approach to homelessness. Shelters to Shutters works with local apartment buildings to provide housing and also jobs to individuals who are facing homelessness. So joining us now is Chris Finlay. He is the managing partner of the Middleburg Real Estate Partners, and also the person who started Shelters to Shutters, Andy Helmer, who's the chief executive officer. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for all that you're doing in the community.
Thanks for having us this morning.
Thanks. Great to be here.
This is so different than anything else we've talked about. Talk about where you got the idea behind Shelters to Shutters.
Sure. So it's interesting. I don't have any real background in nonprofits or homelessness, but about 5 years ago I read an article and it just opened my eyes to the fact that there are millions of people in the United States who had been gainfully employed, productive members of society, but some financial catalyst had kind of derailed them, right, and they end up struggling with homelessness. And it struck me that my industry could step in and make a difference. And in the apartment industry, it's very typical. Not only do we offer employment, but many on-site jobs also provide discounted housing. So it's really a great combination, and to be able to step in and provide somebody who's struggling with homelessness, but who's motivated and excited about getting back on their feet, the opportunity to not only have a job, but also have a place to live. And that was really the catalyst behind this organization.
Kind of the brains behind it, and then you turn to Andy to put it all together and get it working, right?
Thankfully,
right?
yes.
How did that happen? I mean, I'm sure this is a heavy lift.
Yeah, so we work with a network of nonprofit organizations like Cornerstones focused on really breaking the cycle of homelessness. Those organizations refer motivated, ready-to-work individuals to our program. We do screenings, we do background checks, and if we believe the individual would be a good fit for our apartment industry partners, we invite them to a hiring event. Hiring events provide an opportunity for our candidates to meet with employers, learn about open positions, and interview with hiring managers. Those hired then get discounted housing, as Chris mentioned, as well as a competitive wage position with benefits.
Well, that's what's so different about this, right? They're getting a place to live, but they're also getting the job to help support them and keep them on that path.
Absolutely.
That's where did you get that idea that you wanted to pair those two?
So look, I mean, to truly break that cycle of homelessness, I think it's a combination of housing and employment, that idea to move somebody back to economic self-sufficiency. And so, it's something that is somewhat typical in the apartment industry to begin with, like I was saying, the fact that we're always looking for great employees, but at the same time, it's typical in our industry for people that are working in on-site positions to also get discounted housing. So it just fit together, and that's where the light bulb went off for me, and I saw that there was an opportunity for our industry to really do something here.
Even within the apartment complex itself, right, is where people will be working. What kind of positions are those that they're doing?
Yeah, so entry-level positions like a leasing agent or a groundskeeper, maintenance tech, positions like that.
So anyone who knows of somebody that could actually do that and needs a place can come out and apply?
Yeah, they need to come through one of our partners, which are listed on our website. So yeah, that's just a way that we can help ensure that we're providing a quality service to not only our industry apartment partners, but also the individuals themselves.
So you guys have already put together how many buildings right now?
Well, it's more than buildings. So the way we describe it is Shelters to Shutters really interfaces between these like-minded local homelessness organizations like Cornerstone, who are looking to really break that cycle of homelessness. And then we pair them with industry partners in the real estate apartment industry around the country. So some of our, it can be, and we're in, I think, 11 or 12 cities right now across the United States, Washington, D.C. being our largest metro area. But yeah, no, we've been successful in expanding and scaling this around the country, so it's really exciting.
Are you looking to expand further? What's the future look like for you guys?
For us, it's really about growth and scalability. As Chris mentioned, the multifamily industry is a $1 trillion industry with tens of thousands of apartment communities employing millions of people. We really have an opportunity to provide this sort of service in cities across the United States.
Yeah, there's a big need for it everywhere. How do people help out again if they've heard this? To say either they know somebody or they want to contribute themselves.
Yeah, so we encourage people to go to our website, www.shelters2shutters.org. You can click the Get Involved if you want to sign up for our newsletter or learn about volunteer opportunities, or as you mentioned several times, Giving Tuesday is tomorrow, so we have a Double Your Impact campaign, so every donation will double through the end of the year.
That's better than the Cyber Monday
That's
sales,
exactly right.
Save your money for tomorrow. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here and all that you're doing.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ellen. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back.